Hey guys, welcome back to the Bearded Bonsai YouTube channel. Today, we're going to be working on my larch forest. Now these trees are very special to me. I actually collected these from the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. So they're wild, so to speak, or Yamadori. I love the composition that they have. But as you can see, I've let them grow. They're a little bit out of control. So we need to get them back under control, trim them up, get them refined a little bit, get them back to shape. I'll spin it around for you so you can see kind of from all sides. I can't remember. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there's 9 trees. I think it looks good from both sides. The largest, tallest trees are these two here, which traditionally when you make a forest in bonsai, that will be your front. And then as they go back, they will get smaller. And that kind of adds some natural depth, just like you would find in a real forest, right? So that's the goal of what you're doing here. So if you're wondering what this is, it is actually just some weed matting. And the reason I put that in there is I don't plan on keeping these in this pot much longer. I'm going to pop them out of there and plant them on a slab. So to make that really easy to get this out when the time comes, just trees, weed mat and all will come right out. No mess, no stress. So that's always the goal, right? Whatever you're doing. So we're just going to get started here, and I'll kind of talk you through what I'm doing as I'm doing it, and we'll see if we can get these back under control. So with a forest, again, you're just trying to replicate a real forest, and in a real forest, it's not super thick like this. When trees grow close together, the light drowns out as it goes to the forest floor. So typically they're kind of sparse at the bottom, and the branches, they're not long like this running in each other. In a forest, there's just natural forces in nature that kind of keep those limbs back. Next time you're walking through a woods or you know, a heavily wooded park, kind of pay attention to that, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So we're just going to go through here, and then again, you see how long this guy is. We're just going to go back and shorten these all up. Now, I'll probably have to go back later, like this limb here, and we'll wire it down to simulate the old growth, because as trees get old and heavy, the branches kind of go down from the weight and the stress. So for right now, we'll just go through, trim these up. This one's reaching way out. Clip this one here. And you can see this one has a lot of back budding going on, which is going to look really nice. This one's growing straight up. Anything kind of straight up you don't really want. So that includes this guy. We'll bring these back. And we'll just kind of go through it here. And as you can see, these are very, very vigorous trees. They really grow strong, shoot out a lot of growth. But what I think is the coolest part about large trees, whether it's American larch or Tamarack trees like these, or Japanese larch or European, the cool thing about it is that their needles or leaves are deciduous. So every fall, these will all turn a golden bright yellow. and then fall off just like maple leaves. So I think that's really, really cool. In the spring and early summer here, you can see they're a very bright, vivid green, which is really nice. And then again in the fall, they put on a whole nother show with the yellow. And then in winter, you get to see the branch structure. So it's really an all-season tree. They're very, very nice trees. I've become really fond of large trees. I think they're really cool. And then again, up towards the top, right? Just like a large tree in your yard, or perhaps in a forest, the top is the smallest. From the top, it always opens up as it goes down. And then you can see like all the bright green, like it's just shooting new growth everywhere, which is great. But right now they have too much. So we're just gonna go back, shorten these guys up, get them back under control. So if any of you all that are watching have any large trees or a large forest, feel free to leave me a comment. Tell me how you manage it, how you handle the growth. Or if you don't like large trees, let's talk about it. tell me that as well. All right. Cut these ends back. So a big part of this, and again, some of these, like this limb here, I'll have to come back and I'll do some wiring, and I'll try to get that on video as well, kind of a follow-up video, so you can see that process as well. And a lot of this, the way I'm doing it, honestly, what I'm doing right now, like how am I making these decisions? What do I cut? What I don't cut? There are some kind of steadfast rules or guidelines with most all bonsai, or as a lot of people would correct me and say, it's not bonsai, it's bonsai, which is technically right. I learned to say bonsai. There is a very famous bonsai artist I follow, I really respect, and he says bonsai, and he's not concerned with what other people think, and I think that's a really cool quality. So I say it that way as well, at least for now. But yeah, the rules I was talking about were, so here's a good example here on this branch. This guy is growing straight up, just like these. So anything growing straight up is going to spoil your line. So you want to either cut them way back so they're kind of flat, or cut them off. Also, right here, this shoot is growing straight off the bottom. Anything growing straight down is not going to look right. It's not going to be pleasing to your eyes. So you're going to want to take that back as well. And then here, this is just a big old clumpy mess. So we want to take these back. We don't want the branches, you know, running in each other. You want to be able to kind of see through the forest. Again, that guy's grown straight up. Cut these back. And if you're just starting out with bonsai, it can be tough to know what you're supposed to cut, what you're not. That just comes with time and experience. I don't like this branch. We're just going to cut it off, open that up, shorten these guys. But you know, other than some general rules like we were talking about, it's honestly just going to come down to, does it look right to you? Does it feel right to you? One thing that I personally love about bonsai is that in some ways, there are no rules. Meaning, bonsai is an art form. You know, it's a blend of art and horticulture or gardening. And for me, that's one of the reasons I love it. I love both of those things. I've always enjoyed art, drawing, painting, things like that. I've always enjoyed the outdoors. And bonsai is just the perfect blend of those things put together. So for me, I was just kind of, the first time I experienced it, I was just naturally drawn to it right from the start. So what you're doing in effect is creating a sculpture that's alive. One of the coolest things I think about bonsai is the fact that these trees will never look like this again. Even if you had this exactly right, these trees are alive. They will never stop growing unless they die. So no matter how good you get it, it's never done. Like, these will never actually be done because they will keep growing, and you know, natural things will happen. You know, some branches will die. Some of these trees may even die. In really old forests, in bonsai in real life, you know, you'll see that dieback. This guy here, you know, with a forest, you want varying heights, you want varying tops, and this one, I believe, it's kind of even with this. I'm gonna go ahead and just cut that top back a little, actually a little further. Trim these guys. And that way, it'll give a lot better dimension. Now, it is possible to make some bad cuts, of course, but again, one of the cool parts is these are alive. They will grow. If you mess it up, so to speak, it'll grow back. As long as you didn't cut it way back. But you can't be too afraid. Sometimes it's really easy to get caught. I do it all the time. It's really easy to get caught up trying to figure out, should I cut this? Should I cut that? Should I not? And you'll just sit and stare at a tree or a branch for sometimes hours or days with indecision because you're so afraid to make the wrong cut. But as, again, want this a little shorter. I think that's good. As someone, a very famous, bonsai master I look up to, he actually, in his book that I bought, he signed it for me, and he wrote in there for me a message, and he said, always remember to be bold. And that's just always stuck with me. I love that quote. It's definitely easier said than done, but I do try to apply it, not just to bonsai, right? But to life. There's a lot to be said, a lot to learn about life from bonsai, believe it or not. I was actually talking to my wife about that fact today, and we had a really cool discussion on it. And she asked me what I had learned about it today, and in reference to the tree we were talking about, I said the tree we were talking about was in a nursery pot. It was very root bound. It still is. That's another project I'll have to share when the time comes. But I told her you could draw a parallel to that tree. So that tree is all root bound in the pot, right? Its growth is stunted. Its health has taken a hit, right? It's not in its best health because it's not getting everything it needs from being all congested and kind of stuck. So I told her what I had learned is that if you stay complacent too long, if you stay stuck where you're at, you won't grow. And to grow and healthy and get better, you need to go into a bigger pot, or if you look at it in your life, you need to go outside of your comfort zone sometimes. For me, being in front of this camera, talking to you right now, is relatively outside of my comfort zone, but I do enjoy it, and I hope to keep doing it. So I hope anyone watching this enjoys it as well, and is okay with me rambling on like this. Because if not, you're probably not going to enjoy my content. So, all right, guys, I think this is starting to look a lot better now. We're making some progress here. Kind of the more you cut, the more is revealed of some glaring branches that need taken out. That's definitely looking better. Like I said, it does have some branches that will need wired a little bit to pull them down, like this one here. You start to go down, it just gives it that natural aged look that trees have. But these are all growing very strong. They all appear to be very healthy. And again, I started to tell you at the beginning of this video, my wife and I, we actually collected these trees on a trip to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan for my birthday. Everything's on the up and up, don't worry. I didn't just go rooting these up somewhere. So these trees are special to me because whenever I see them, I always think about that trip. And we had such a good time on that trip. I never knew Michigan was such a beautiful place. Like, if you haven't seen it, I'm telling you, you need to go. The waters remind me of just a few weeks ago, we were actually in Jamaica, and the waters in Jamaica reminded me of the waters on the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Just the brightest, most vivid blue, teal. It looks tropical up there. It is amazing. It's just a beautiful place. I'm sure we'll go back at some point. We talk about that a lot. But if you're not new to bonsai, you'll know what I'm talking about here. But if you are new, you will discover that just spending time outside, I don't know if you can hear the birds singing or not, outside with your trees, just, it's very, what's the word for it? Meditative. It's very meditative. You can kind of just get lost, forget about the crazy world, focus on your trees. Kind of like a living version of Bob Ross, maybe. Instead of planting or painting trees, we're working with the real things here. So that's looking, I'm liking that. Actually, yeah, we'll go ahead and cut it. So let me spin this around for you guys. So typically, I think this is a really nice angle, but we would call this the back. But I would say, I mean, if you like it better, you could call it the front. And for those that don't know, in bonsai, with a group of trees or one tree, there's always what's called the front. And the front is just the area of the tree that, like, when you look at it from that angle, it looks the best. If you turn the tree all the way around, no matter what, and if you notice this, if you start looking for it in the trees in your yard and things, you'll see it. There will be one certain angle that just shows that tree and enhances all its characteristics better than another. So a lot of times that's a turn of the trunk. Sometimes it's like a deadwood feature. Maybe it's the root flare is better from one side than another. With a forest, it really all just has to do with depth, because that's what we're trying to create. We want to be able to look at this and get the feeling or the sense that we are in an actual large forest. So, like I said, most of the time this would be considered the back. I think it looks nice as the front, but let's turn it around and take a look at the other side. See what we have here. Okay, so looking at it, it's a lot more thinned out. It definitely, we have some more work to do before I would be satisfied, but it's definitely an improvement from before we started. It was just getting out of control and turning into basically it was looking like a big bush. And when you're growing a tree, you have to remember that it's a tree, not a bush. So you don't want it to look like a bush. These are going straight up. This one's going straight down. So again, we just take those right off. But this is, I think this is looking really nice. It's really coming together. So these are the two primary trees. So if I'm looking at it like this, I like that too. So the idea is to have the tallest ones in the front, and then as they go back, they get shorter, creating, hopefully, the same depth that you would see if these were really big and really far away. It would give that same look. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you like this side better, or do you like this side better? I could honestly see an argument for either way. I really could. We go here. So one thing I'm noticing in these two guys here, they're almost the same height, just a ½ inch shorter maybe. So I know I'm a fan of asymmetry, and in bonsai in general, you want that asymmetry. When something's symmetrical and perfect and the same, it just doesn't look right. It doesn't look natural. So this guy's the tallest. I like that. I think this one should be a little shorter. I'm okay with the height here, but I think this one needs to lose a little. Now I like that. A little cut, but I feel like it made a big difference because it kind of takes your eye. It's almost like you're looking like the Smoky Mountains, maybe like the tree line. It comes back, comes down. So I like that. I think that helped quite a bit. So for now, I think we're going to stop where we're at. There's a lot on the ground here. We took a good amount off, but I'm liking what I'm seeing. I like where it's going. I think as this keeps on developing, I think that's going to be really nice, especially once we get these potted up onto a slab, a nice slate or rock slab. It'll look hopefully even more like a real forest, like you would see, such as places like the Upper Peninsula where these grow. It's looking. So one thing I'm seeing here is these two branches, they're kind of going towards each other. They're wanting to cross. I feel like this is the one that will take back just a little. And again, kind of make that asymmetry. And you can see these new shoots. You'll notice I didn't cut those. Those are just growing out. And I'm going to leave those. I like the space they'll take up. So as they grow, maybe this fall, maybe next spring, we'll cut all those back. And again, this is just, think of it as going to the barber and saying, just take a little off the top. We're not done here, but we've regained control of the forest. You can see the shape, and you can kind of see what we want it to be. So I like that. I like where we're at. We're far from done. It will take some wiring to get all these down where we want them. And as I do that, as I bring that down, I see like I don't like that. So we'll go ahead, make a couple little cuts there. But hopefully you can at least visualize where we're going with this. I love these. I hope you do too. I hope you got something out of this. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, I hope you enjoy these videos. I really like this forest, guys. Let me know if you enjoy it too. Let me know if you have one like this, if you learned something, if you just enjoyed watching the video, then I consider this a success. As always, I appreciate you tuning in. I hope you have a great day, and we'll see you later. All right, guys, I'm going to take you in for a little bit closer look so you can see some more details on this forest. And honestly, the work never ends. Even just looking at it right now, I'm making notes in my head. That needs cut, that needs cut. And hopefully you can see and get the feeling of the depth, right? There's trees up front, there's trees in the back. And here's kind of a good example. If you look at this one here, it has a good sized, let me focus, good sized trunk on it. And then that one's slightly smaller, and that one's smaller yet. So it's not just the height that creates depth, it's the size of the trunk, right? By putting the biggest in the front and the smallest in the back, it emphasizes that it's farther away. So hopefully you can see that. And unfortunately, you can see this moss. It was all super bright green and beautiful like this here. But I put some fertilizer on there last year and it actually killed all the moss. So that's unfortunate, but I believe we can get it back. And there's a better look for you. Let me spin this around. As you can see, they're a beautiful green color, beautiful bright green. And I do like, show you here what I like about this angle and move it so you can kind of see like bam, 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 bam. Just the depth, the different perspectives. So I think this could be the front if you really wanted it to be. I think it would need thinned out. As you can see, you can't see the trunks nearly as well as you can from this side. So there you go.